The 12th book of the Bible is 2 Kings, a continuation of the history of Israel and Judah that began in 1 Kings. It picks up where the first book left off, with the prophet Elijah still confronting the idolatry of Israel under King Isaiah and King Joram. Early on, Elijah is taken up into heaven in a whirlwind, and his prophetic mantle passes to his disciple Elisha. Elisha's ministry is marked by remarkable miracles, healing the sick, multiplying food, making an iron axe head float, and even raising the dead. These miracles serve as signs that God's power is still present and at work, even in dark times. However, spiritually, both Israel in the north and Judah in the south continue to decline. The northern kingdom never turns back to God, and its kings follow the same idolatry set up by Jeroboam. The southern kingdom has occasional reform under kings like Hezekiah and Josiah, but the trend is still toward rebellion against God in the north. The situation becomes so bad that God allows the Assyrian Empire to conquer Israel. In 722 BC, Samaria falls, and the people are taken into exile, scattered among other nations. The Bible makes it clear this happens because they rejected God's covenant, ignored his prophets, and worshipped idols instead of the Lord. Meanwhile, Judah lasts a bit longer, but many of its kings also turn away from God. Some, like Hezekiah, trust the Lord and experience great deliverance, such as when the Assyrian army surrounds Jerusalem and God miraculously destroys them. Others, like Manasseh, plunge the nation into deep idolatry, shedding innocent blood and even bringing pagan practices into the temple. The prophet Elisha continues his work until his death, and other prophets like Isaiah and Jeremiah deliver God's messages during this period. But Judah refuses to listen, and God's warnings become reality. In 586 BC, the Babylonian Empire, led by King Nebuchadnezzar, conquers Jerusalem. The temple, the symbol of God's presence among his people, is burned to the ground, and the people are carried off into exile in Babylon. The book ends with a glimmer of hope. Years later, King Jehoiachin of Judah is released from prison in Babylon and given a seat of honor at the king's table, hinting that God's promises to David are still alive. The message of 2 Kings is sobering. Persistent sin leads to judgment, and God's patience, though great, is not without limits. Yet even in judgment, God is faithful to his covenant and leaves the door open for restoration. Spiritually, 2 Kings points us forward to Jesus, the true and perfect King who never fails and who brings a lasting kingdom that will never be destroyed. So 2 Kings isn't just ancient history, it's a mirror that warns us about the dangers of drifting from God, and it's a reminder that our hope is not in human kings or political systems but in the eternal King who reigns forever. This was Book 12 in our 66 Books of the Bible series. In the next episode, we'll dive into 1 Chronicles, which retells much of Israel's history from a fresh perspective, focused on God's covenant promises. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss it.